Coach Mike McDaniel fired from the Dolphins today. And, oh, yeah, we got the number 5 team in the country, 14-0, fresh off an 87-72 win over Marietta last night down on the river. Let's bring him in. The head basketball coach of the Purple Raiders, Mr. Mike Fuline, on this Thursday afternoon. Coach Mike, good afternoon. Congratulations. How was the trip home last night?
Hey, Sam. Thanks for having me. Yeah, they're always good after wins, right? The losses make it a little more miserable, but, that's one of our longer ones during the week. But thankfully, we aren't back in school until next week. So we get a couple of these trips out of the way early.
Good stuff. So 87-72, the win last night, and we'll get into the team aspect and we'll break down some of that. We'll look ahead to Wilmington and we'll chop up a little hoops with you here today. But gosh, I got to shout out Jarrett Taylor. Did I see that he had 8 blocks in that game or 8 steals in that game last night?
Yeah, in the first half, I mean, I don't even know if he was playing enough minutes. I looked at our coaches and said, I don't know if we can take him out. I mean, he's such a unique player. I had the opportunity to watch him play since he's been 8 years old. Mm-hmm. So I know how he affects every single game. Just the most intelligent player I've ever been around. And then, he's just got that length and just a feel for the game of basketball. You look at the stat sheet last night, 8 points, 8 rebounds, eight steals, and then Big Sean came in and gave us 4 or 5 blocks. So, like I told our group today at practice, those guys that start the game are phenomenal and they're great. What separates us then is when we do have to go to the bench, we don't skip a beat, and there's even some guys, Sam, honestly, I'm not even finding enough minutes for who could be helping us as well. So that's a great problem to have, and especially if you're winning. Now, when you start losing, that becomes a pain in the butt, as you know.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, we talked. The last time we had John, because with the break and all the crazy stuff going on, it's been a little bit. But I talked about it. I said, hey, I think at some point you're going to have a problem trying to wrangle enough minutes together for some of your guys that really deserve to get out there and play. And now that you're hunkered down in OAC play and you'll get back to that regular Wednesday, Saturday routine, maybe that'll become a little easier. I don't know. But how do you and the staff handle stuff like that? Do you talk about it?
Yeah, I mean, you talk about it while you're recruiting them. That there's, the players want certain types of things, and honestly, Sam, there's some that would rather go be the man on a team, and maybe that doesn't account to as much winning and things like that. But what I promise our guys is, and you've been through it with me, right? In these teams, like winning trumps all of those,
everything.
It just does. And being able to celebrate that with your family, cut down the nets until it's your time, right? And all these guys' time is coming. I deal with it with my own son at Youngstown State, right? You chop wood, you keep fighting, you keep competing every single day. And eventually when your number's called, you go take advantage of it. Until then, you be an unbelievable teammate. If it ever gets to a point where it's a helpless situation, unfortunately, then you move, right? That's just the way of the world right now, So, I certainly have empathy for those guys and their families, but we're trying to win basketball games right now and never apologize for that.
No, and that's exactly what you're doing. 14-0, 5-0 in the OAC. Big win last night on the road, and then you're going to go down to Wilmington Saturday. We'll get into that here in a little bit. But, boy, Chance was on fire last night. He had 27. He had a little series there, back-to-back threes that stretched it out a little bit for you. Elijah was strong, had a nice box score kind of game. Kevin Hamilton, I'll tell you what, Coach. Kevin Hamilton, the more that I watch him play, the more he reminds me of a young fellow that sits a couple of seats down by you on the bench, Jeffrey Mansfield. Yeah. I don't know if I'm crazy there, but I love his game and I love what he brings to the floor.
Yeah, there's just, there's just guys who are, we call them dogs, right? They're just, just tough dudes. And I have 2 guards like that right now with Chance and Kevin. But yeah, I think, that game got tight and got back to 5. We were making some sloppy errors on both sides of the floor, call timeout, trying not to yell as best I can. And
I heard you all the way up here.
yeah, and then Chance, we ran some good action to get him a good look, and he nailed it. And then we get a stop, and he nails another one. Now they got to call timeout. Then we all can exhale. Like, listen, just play like we can, and just get this thing extended because down there anything can happen. They have some talented offensive players. So anytime you can go on the road in this league, especially at a Marietta, Wilmington, like all these places, you just want to win. Right. And then you can evaluate it later, but you're just trying to win the game and move on.
Yeah. Get a win and get on the bus and
get on the bus, man. Get your pizza, get on the bus, and let's go home.
Go home. Caleb last night, again, here's, 15. He's another one of those glue guys that probably, probably gets underappreciated by some that are on the outside of the program. Yeah. But talk about what Caleb has brought to the program, and especially the last few years. Yeah, he's had to battle some injuries and annoying crap like that, and he's really come out on the other side, hasn't he?
Yes, that was, and again, people like you who follow us quite a bit. When he went down, it was the third game of the year. When he was out for the season, awful. It just kind of takes the wind out of you because he's that junkyard dog guy. Like, he's going to guard the best post player. He's going to make some extra passes. He talks constantly on defense. He's almost like our quarterback out there, and then last year Christian had to do all that. So now we're worried about him fouling. It was just it was a tough situation. But last night was the first team because, usually there's going to be a mismatch either on Eli or him. And they put their main guy on Eli to start the game. So you just go right to Caleb, and he was perfect from the field. So that was good to see. It's just good to see, those two working well together. And again, Deshaun coming off the bench and giving us some valuable minutes. Those guys are all going to have to be great for us to have any chance of winning any type of championships.
Mike Fuline is our guest, the outstanding head basketball coach, Mount Union, here on 1310 WDP and the Sam Bourquin Show. Mount 14-0. I should mention again, they are ranked number 5 in the country, and I know everybody pays attention to that a little bit. And I just saw a little graphic come up. I was scrolling through. You guys are only one of 5 undefeated teams in the country in Division III men's college basketball, and if anything, man, that's got to make you feel good, and it puts a little shine on the program, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think as I've gotten older, at first, I don't ever want to hear about it, talk about it like it thinks, and then as you get older, you try to appreciate it when those things come and what it does for the university. Be honest with you though, I get a text from Larry Karras. I mean, only in Larry's way, I don't want to hear any talk around there about losing a game to make this, to take pressure off, go win them all, losing cause it. So it snaps your mindset, and you get to see why I didn't really ever lose very many games,
Right.
So, but that's kind of how we've been. Like, I tell our team, Sam, and I believe this, and I feel this way strongly, if they just give maximum effort, especially on the defensive side of the floor, like, you just got whatever happens. Like, you're going to have games where another team gets hot. You're not, but you're playing your tail off.
Yep.
I think we talked about that last week. We only made 6 field goals against Calvin in the first half. There's nothing to be mad about. Getting good looks. Last night we got a couple of good ones that didn't fall. Just keep playing hard, right? Care about each other, share the basketball, play some defense. We'll be fine.
Yeah. And at some point, I mean, you've been around long enough. Sometimes you just tip your cap. Yeah. Sometimes you tip your cap and you go on and you take care of your own stuff and you worry about the next one. But man, is it a fun ride right now? I got to tell you, 14-0 sounds really, really damn good. All right, a hornet's nest, so to speak, coming up Saturday. Wilmington awaits. People will look at the record and say, what are you talking about? They're 7-6. They have won 3 in a row. And they've been a little bit of a thorn for us for whatever reason, at home and away the last couple of years. And then I was talking to Keller in the lobby. They said, boy, that's an early trip. It's a long trip on a Saturday. Wilmington's going to be down there waiting on them, and we're talking about all this stuff. But you will have your guys prepared mentally, physically, and ready to go. And if you could kind of talk about the matchup with Wilmington coming up.
Yeah, they're a very good basketball team. Last year we went there and won at the buzzer on. I think we shot an air ball that fell right into Christian's hand. They laid it in at the buzzer. and we're on the bus ride home, and I want to be upset, but we played well. I mean, they're very good. They match us. It's one of the few teams we played that can athletically just kind of match us. They're as tough as we are. They have no fear of Mount Union. They've proven that over the last few years. So we have to match that, right? I mean, you got to match that intensity, and that's all we've kind of been talking about. This group has been really good at just focusing on that task at hand. And if it's going to be a street yard fight, then let's do that. You know what I mean? So, they kind of just make you play basketball, and that's the one thing that we've done here, I think, is recruit basketball players. So there's a lot of times in games like this, and I told them today, we're going to try to help you. We're showing you everything. We walked through things today, just slowly to show them how they'll be guarded, what's going to be available. But at the end of the day, in games like this, Sam, they kind of take the coaching out, right? They just speed you up and play as fast as they can and trap you. And so you just got to have basketball players that make smart, right decisions. And you got to go right back at them, right? You got to go right back at them. You got to attack them. You miss one, go back. You miss another one, go back the next time down and just play. And so we're excited about going down there. We really are. We know how good they are. They only have one loss in the league. For us to win anything, you got to beat these teams.
That's right. An interesting stat about Wilmington, Coach. I mentioned they're 7-6. They're 1-4 at home, and they're 5-1 away. And they're 1-1 neutral. So I don't know what kind of sense that makes, but maybe that'll play in. I don't know. All right. So for a Saturday afternoon game on the road at 1 p.m. with big travel, what's the day start out like for the Purple Raider program?
Yeah. Since we're on break, we're actually going to leave tomorrow. We'll leave tomorrow and stay down there.
So about that too. Good.
Yeah. So that'll be a good thing for us. These double headers, it's hard, right? It's hard to, especially on a trip to Wilmington. Sometimes we've moved that game back 2 to 4, but instead of leaving at 7:30 in the morning, them not having to get out of class tomorrow, it's just a good opportunity for us to go down there and kind of we'll leave late, get in late, sleep, eat, and go play, and then get back on the bus. And you just want to give your guys the best advantage. That we did this one other time, Sam, and it did not go well.
Uh-oh.
And my athletic director, who wore glasses at the time, was not real happy. He may have said something like, "Stay in Wilmington," So oh yeah, that was the nicest thing he said.
Oh, that is it's funny now. I guess it's funny now, but probably not back then. Yeah. That's a good story right there. Mike Fuline is our guest. The Mount Union Purple Raiders. They're 14-0. They'll be at Wilmington Saturday at 1 p.m. If you can make it down to Wilmington, get down there with your purple and white and get down there and support that basketball team because they richly deserve it. They're playing some incredible round ball right now. All right, Coach, it is a 3-question Thursday. Are you ready to take the quiz before we send you on your way?
Get a little nervous with these, Sam, but yes, I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Everybody's listening. I know Mike Parnell's listening. He loves that kind of stuff. All right, question number 1. Who wins tonight? College football, Ole Miss or Miami of Florida?
Listen, if I said anyone other than Miami, Chad Bailey might kill me. I mean, he's one of the biggest true fans. You get some of us that are kind of like in and out fans, like he's all in. So I promised him if they beat the Buckeyes that I would jump on his bandwagon. So I'm going to be pulling for the Hurricanes tonight.
All right. Coach Fuline's pulling for the U tonight. All right. Question number 2. I'm interested to hear this one. Most famous person that you might have a selfie with?
Most famous person? Well, I had a great opportunity years ago to work with USA Basketball, in Vegas for 2 summers.
Oh.
And so there's quite a bit, man. I mean, if you're a basketball fan, my favorite is probably the one with my wife, with James Harden on one side of her and Kevin Durant.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that would be not mine, but hers. That would be the best one.
You can claim that one. That's
I'll claim that one. Yeah.
That's star power.
Yeah.
All right. Question number 3. What event would Coach Mike Fuline absolutely love to see at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium? Any event.
I would love to see Morgan Wallen concert there.
Nice.
It gets some good seats. That would be one. But I honestly, one of the best thing I've ever been to there, truthfully, and hopefully, I'm sure people would get mad, but Anthony was a junior or senior in high school, and we went and watched the Massillon State Championship game versus Hoban.
Yeah.
Listen, you left there with goosebumps, a little choked up, like, just what what it's supposed to be, and kind of like I wanted him to see. That's how it always used to be, right back when we were growing up.
I don't believe that, but that's true. It used to be.
They don't believe it, but that was kind of the norm. So, that was the top thing. So anything that has, those type of events where high school players can be involved athletically, I think it's great.
Yeah, there was just under 19,000 people there that night.
That was unbelievable, man. That was a great game. That was awesome.
It was. All right, Coach. Again, appreciate you coming on today. Safe travels down to Wilmington, and congratulations on a wonderful start, and keep it rolling.
All right, buddy. I'll see you next week.
You got it, pal. There he goes. Mike Fuline, head basketball coach of the Purple Raiders of the University of Mount Union. They're number 5 in the country. One of only 5 teams undefeated in the country in Division III college basketball.